All right, y'all. Welcome in to a film review episode on the the Cleveland Browns on SI YouTube channel. Anthony Moeglin running solo here tonight after we watched what was an exciting night for the Cleveland Browns in Carolina, taking on the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, the final score of that game, the Browns get a 30-10 victory over the Panthers in a game that obviously doesn't mean all that much, but for Browns fans and for the national media, kind of everywhere, it meant everything because Shedeur Sanders got the start. So if you're tapping in with me tonight at 1:01 a.m., you're just as psychotic as me, and I appreciate that. Make sure you be a friend and you tell a friend about our film review episodes. They are going to be going live. Doesn't matter who's playing quarterback, whether it's Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders. These will be coming your way after every single Browns game. So our first one tonight is after the week one of the preseason here. And we got a bunch of people jumping in here right now. So as we're getting ready to go, we're getting warmed up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. It doesn't take much. Just go hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on these videos. It does help us out in a very, very big way. And also make sure you're following along. I'm going to put a banner going along the bottom here. Make sure you head over to our website, si.com/NFL/Browns. We got a full team of people who are writing content at pretty much constantly, 24/7. We got fresh content up for you. So make sure you're checking all of our stuff out there over on our website here. So a bunch of people filing in, and we'll get going here in just a minute. But Shedeur Sanders kind of led the way tonight. Just two guys taking snaps for the Cleveland Browns. It was Shedeur Sanders. It was Tyler Huntley. Shedeur on the night, 14 of 23 for 138 total yards, 2 touchdowns. He did take 2 sacks. He had a quarterback rating of 106.8. And then Tyler Huntley came into the game. He was 6 for 8 for 51 yards, 1 touchdown, and really did his job and did so in a really nice way. He's obviously been a part of the team for just under a week here, but really the main story of the night is Shedeur Sanders. Also, Shedeur on the ground had 4 carries for 19 yards. Had a couple nice little plays that we will certainly get into here. The big one coming on a third down. He identified man-to-man coverage and made a really, really nice play. So before we jump in here, just a last quick reminder. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We love doing this type of stuff. And certainly the film review episodes are my favorite. So we got a nice crowd in here tonight, and we are going to dive right in here. So as you see the film pulled up on the screen, we go chronologically here. Okay, so this may be new to some folks. We're going to go from snap 1 to the last snap. Tonight's episode is going to be a little bit quicker, but typically these shows can get lengthy, right? These shows could be an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours long. This would be kind of your typical film room experience if you were a quarterback or an offensive player post game here. But tonight's is going to be a little bit quicker just because Shedeur played and had about 20 throws in the game tonight, 23 throws in the game tonight. So let's get it started here. First play of the game, second play of the game, first throw of the game. And we got a typical, this is one that you see often. And make sure also as we're getting through this, if you have thoughts, comments, whatever, jump into that comment section. I'm going to drop one in here from our chat. Make sure that you are dropping your comments in here. All right. So we got that posted here. So make sure you're dropping your comments in that comment section as we dive through this. Again, as you can tell, I'm running solo here, so I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between a couple of screens here. So this first throw of Shedeur Sanders' NFL career is very typical one. We're going to get a little bit of a motion here to the backside, and then we're going to get a slant up top, all right? And really for the quarterback, you're reading one guy. You're reading this inside linebacker, okay? If this inside linebacker goes up to the top of our screen here to Shedeur's right, you're hitting the swing pass here because you got leverage. Your block to block to block, and then you're one-on-one with a potential safety there. However, if this linebacker does get width to the right, you're 3-on-3, and then your running back is 2 is 1-on-2. So you got numbers up to the top of your screen. So what we see here, Shedeur identifies it really quickly. Even pre-snap, you see that this linebacker gets a little bit of width to the bottom of our screen, and you see his first step initially is bang. He is to the Shedeur's left, and Shedeur knows I'm flipping my hips and throwing one to the slant. Now, Shedeur's going to want this one back. I'm going to let it play through and then slow it down. Okay, that ball hits a little bit high. This is Deontay Johnson out here on the top of our screen, a guy who's been in the league for a long while, is trying to make his way. This needs to be caught by the wide receiver, but this ball needs to be splitting the numbers, okay? And Shedeur said after the game, he said, I wasn't perfect. He even said I wasn't even good. And this is an example of that, right? Where that ball is now making your receiver stretch where it needs to be right in between his numbers, because watch this driving safety. This safety is driving down like a bat out of hell, trying to make a big play. And because this ball is high, that exposes his receiver. If this ball was right on the numbers, he could catch and protect himself. Instead, it winds up as an incomplete pass. So that sets up a 3rd and 5. Shedeur's first 3rd down of his NFL career, and we get what's called a spot concept. Okay, spot is up to the top of our screen here, and it can be run in a number of different ways. It can be run by a 3-by-1, a bunch set, and what we're seeing out of here is a condensed split, meaning that the split is set condensed to the line of scrimmage. It's not your normal one. And then we have a stack, okay? So we have a stack, and then we're going to run this route concept with our running back. So what we get here is that you're going to get what's called the spot route right here. You're going to get a corner route by number 3. The number 3 receiver, we read it, I guess number 2, because you got the running back coming out of the flat here and running it just like that. So there's your route concept, and that's how we're reading it, that's what we're going to. And how we read that is how I was taught to read that is outside, inside, outside. So your first option here is if you can get it to your flat route, you get it to the flat route and let him go try to make a play. If that's taken away, you go to the inside. What's our inside route? It is our spot concept, okay? If that's also taken away, you give a shot to your corner to out of bounds, okay? So we are 1, 2, and then 3, okay? Outside, inside, outside. So what we see, that outside route is taken away. This linebacker drives here, which is very simple. We see that as a quarterback. It is immediate. We flip our hips, and we're throwing the spot route. Great anticipation here by Shedeur. This is really, really nice. Good timing, good anticipation. The receiver at this point is in a really nice spot. He catches this football on his first try. Guess what? We're getting the first down. Cleveland Browns first down right here. Instead, he bobbles it just a little bit and leaves enough time for this linebacker to come in and make a play short of the sticks. And as you see, I let it run out. This official comes back in, spots it right here. 4th down, Cleveland Browns, and they end up punting that football away. But regardless, I'm going to skip through it all. Really good timing by Shedeur, really good anticipation. He sees this immediately that's taken away. He knows he's going back here, throws a really nice protected football on the outside shoulder of his receiver, but the receiver doesn't do a good job of making that catch and falling forward. He falls backwards, forces the Cleveland Browns to punt. Okay. Now, Browns punt it. Corey Bojorquez puts a bomb into the back of the end zone. They force the 3 and out. The Panthers punt it back to Cleveland. Now, one of the big things about the Cleveland Browns this season coming up is that Kevin Stefanski will be calling all of the plays. And what does Kevin Stefanski love to do? He loves to screen pass. Okay, so we get the Panthers in a blitz here. We're going to get a blitz. We're getting both their linebackers added in. Our running back is going to go just right into the line of scrimmage and then leak out to the right. And this is perfectly timed, perfectly drawn up. Look at this. They fake pass set. He fakes a pass set. He's going to leak right out. This is just gorgeous. Cleveland Brown, advantage Browns right here. This is big time advantage Browns. We got 2 for 2. We got a block here, and then it's BYOB, right? For some, that means some. For others, that means be your own blocker. Okay? So we be our own blocker. We get some couple nice blocks. Luke Whippler gets away with a little bit of a hold right there. You'll see it. Yep, right here. Probably gets away with a little bit of a hold, but that's all right. And the Browns are up and rolling. Really nice catch and run. And the Browns are back into plus territory. Now, They get a little bit of a penalty here. They move it back just a little bit, and the Cleveland Browns on 1st and 10. They go all go here. Okay, so you're going to go all go. You're going to get a little stutter release from Deontay. We call this all go special. Okay, why is it all go special? Because if it was normal all go, it'd just be straight verts. Instead, we got Luke Floria as the number 3 guy here. He's got your over routes. It's going to look a little bit like this. And then we're up the seam just like this. And then we are up the boundary like this. And your running back's going to go check and then get into the flat one way or the other. For the quarterback, this is very simple. You pick your matchup and you go. Shedeur really loves this. And why does he love this? And this is what I really like about this play. I don't love the end of it, but what I really like about this play is I'm going to get off of this. This safety here is where you're keying on. If this safety flies off the hash over here and we get that 2-seam look, you're going to be looking crosser to seam route, okay? But instead, this safety drops into the box a little bit, and we get one roll safety up top. So now we're that single high safety look, and now we go to our outside guys, right? What's our outside look here? Not great. Their corner is in very good leverage to this. We don't love that. We do love this right here. Tight. Our guy is tight up on Deontay Johnson. Shedeur's eyes are wonderful. I wish we had a back view because he's staring right down the middle of the field. You can't tell where he's going. Gets to the top of his drop, flips his hips to the right, throws one up to Deontay Johnson. Okay, it gets up there. There's some contact. I am actually, as a quarterback, I am totally good with no call here because as you watch this is just hand fighting. The guy's kind of tumbled down. Shedeur leaves that ball landing. That ball actually landed right about here. So it wasn't necessarily a catchable football. Kind of leaves his boys out to dry. So not a great rep there, but something to learn on. What I'm looking at here is right now as a quarterback, right, I go to make this throw, and I'm right here. So Shedeur is looking to throw this thing up and float this thing out there. What I'm seeing with the benefit of the pausing of the film is that this corner is winning on top of Deontay Johnson. This is a prime opportunity to hit Deontay on his back shoulder. Right? The cornerback's on top. We throw this thing to the back shoulder. That gives the opportunity for the receiver to turn, to drop his hands, catch, and fall out of bounds. That's where I'm throwing this thing if I'm Shedeur Sanders. And that's going to be coached up on him because it's a good opportunity here because think about Deontay Johnson, not the biggest guy. We're not throwing to DK Metcalf or Julio Jones, right? You're throwing to Deontay Johnson. Right, he is an outside receiver, but he's a little bit on the smaller side. Give him a chance to win on his back shoulder, and you're gonna find a lot of success. Okay, so now this is awesome. 3rd and 9, right? 3rd and 9, and here we go. This shows me, this play specifically shows me that Shedeur is seeing it very, very well. I wish we had the full thing. Wish we had it from the top because the Panthers do a really nice job of disguising coverage. Right, it makes it look. At pre-snap, their safeties were here and here, and it made it look like it was going to be some kind of a shell look, some kind of a zone look. Instead, they roll in, they drop into the slot, and the Carolina Panthers go cover 1, man-to-man coverage. We're locked here. We are man here. We are man here. We are man here. We are man here. And our safety in the middle of the field is free. Now, what does that mean from a quarterback's perspective? First of all, means your guys, if they win their route concept, they are winning, and they're going to win very, very big, okay? They're going to win huge. But if they don't win their routes, and again, it's 3rd and 9, nobody's on the quarterback. Everybody's eyes are locked on their man, and Shedeur feels that. Shedeur breaks contain, and now look, here we go. We're man on here. He's looking here. He's looking here. We're all looking at our guys. Nobody's looking at the quarterback. Look, This cover guy right here on Deontay is going to run with him to the concession stand if he wants to. Similar here. These guys are locked in on their responsibilities. That leaves nobody left for the quarterback. And on 3rd and 9, Shedeur senses that, sees that, feels that, moves the sticks, does a really nice job getting the Browns in scoring territory. All right, I'm going to flip back here. Just a reminder, we got a nice crowd in here. Hey, subscribe, like our videos, and then comment, drop in the comment section if you like these, if I'm missing something, or if you have a different thought here. So let's jump back. And actually, I'm going to pull myself off the screen here. So let's go. There we go. A little bit bigger for you all. All right, so let's get back over here. Okay, we're going to go play action. Escape and then almost. All right, so 2nd and 12. Okay, we're behind the sticks. Really critical for quarterbacks. We want to stay in front of the sticks. We don't want to be in second and long. And when we go play action, Browns fans, get ready for this. Get ready for play action, play action, play action, play action. All right, we're going to come off of it. We want something deep. We don't like it. Hey, look at this. Let's get the ball to our checkdowns if we can. Get that ball to our checkdowns if we can. Do not do this shit. Excuse me. Do not do this. Okay? Shedeur escapes. But what I hate about this is you see right here, we're going to watch this. I'm going to play this all the way through. Watch the ball security. Okay? We're going to watch the ball security here. You're going to see it. That thing's flying around. It's got like a loaf of bread. Hate that. Absolutely hate that. That makes me uncomfortable as a quarterback. But does a really nice job of escaping and giving himself a chance. And we just missed Dylan Sampson. Would have been a nice big gain. But I'm okay with this, especially in the preseason. You don't deserve this. This rep doesn't deserve to be a win. First of all, this deserves to be a sack. Okay, we lose on the inside. Don't love that. Shedeur does a nice job of getting out of it, but I need you to be more protective with the football. I also need us to just – looks like we probably have some curl on here. My guess is we have this, and then we have flat, and then flat, and then a check down right here. That's what I'm guessing we got. We need to get into our check downs much quicker. Okay, if this is covered up and you're on this side of the field, let's throw this thing away, live to fight another down. I hate putting this football in danger here, but this is a good one. This is one, especially for Shedeur Sanders. His number one knock as a quarterback is hanging on to the football too long. You see that in that example. You see that in that instance. And that's something that's going to be continually coached out of him. But what I love about it is we have this tough incompletion. Then we come back right away and we make a big completion on third down. Now, Jamari Thrash right here in our slot. He's our number 2 receiver. He's our guy to keep our eye on. This is called an arches route, okay? We got arches across the field. You're going to have a cross or get across the field, occupy 1 and 2, and then your number 2 receiver is going to spray release this sucker, get out, move this move this defender this way, and then cut across his face. And then number 3 is going to run just a typical in route, 5 yards up and in. You see it coming here. Jamari does a nice job of using his stutter to create some space. Harold Fannin does a really good job here because watch this safety where my cursor is. Watch this safety have to occupy Harold Fannin and then drive on the arches route. You see it there. If Harold doesn't do a good enough job, that safety's just driving on Thrash and making a massive hit. Instead, he's late to the party. Jamari almost spins out of that. He's unable to. But what he does set up is a 4th and 2, and this is a little bit of a disaster. Okay, we're going to play this through, make sure that we got the right clip on. So we have what I would call ship on the bottom. So we got ship down here and stick up top. What does that mean? We're going to get a fade up by number 1 at the top of our screen. Then you got Luke Floria running an out route here at about 5 yards. Then on the bottom of our screen, you're going to get a hitch route. We called it a wide hitch. So you're going to get that wide hitch route. You're going to get a seam ball, big box fade up the seam, and then you're going to get a stick route. So very similar on both sides of the ball. And now with this blitz rolling in, you're going to get a blitz here, and then this guy's going to roll down. We're going to roll up to the top, and we got man-to-man coverage across the board. So this is pick your poison wherever you want to go. That ball needs to be out. Now, the good part is, or the bad part is that the Panthers play good defense. This is locked up. I think he's got potentially a perfect throw about right here. Get you that first down. You got to be super decisive, especially with this blitz and especially with a whiff from our left guard. Can't have that because that's immediate pressure in the face. Now Shedeur scrambling. Hey, don't make a bad play worse. Okay, it's a bad play. Don't make a bad play worse. Right? Don't give them the football on the 50-yard line. Thank God Luke Floria has got a massive football IQ. He sprints back for it to show that he's in the area, and Shedeur does a nice job of getting rid of it. That was 4th down, a disappointing attempt on 4th down. So it's 7-0. Browns are trailing here. Still in the first quarter. We'll jump back over here. Appreciate everybody jumping in with us. We're going to continue flipping through here. A good reminder, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Cleveland Browns on SI. And then look at that banner below. You'll see it, si.com/NFL/Browns. Go check out all of our written content over there. So, okay, we come out. Very familiar play. Here we go with that spot concept again. But instead, the number 2 guy shuts it down, and then we get an in route. Why do we get an in route? Because look at this defender. He's getting width here. Watch that in route come wide open. We're going to come back to that because of a really nice completion on 1st and 10. We're backed way up. Good completion. Good start to the drive. Let's get a first down. All right, now 2nd and 5. Don't love this. The Browns' empty sets have been bad for the last couple of years, whether it's quarterback play or coaching or whatever it may be. They've been really, really rough for the past couple of years, and it doesn't get much better here. So you go trips to the bottom of the screen, deuce to the top of the screen. We're going to get a motion from Jamari Thrash from number 3 to number 2, and he's going to run that little screen pass here. Shedeur does a nice job of getting him the football quickly, getting him in a runner's stance, a runner's position. A couple of missed blocks, and that is a no gainer there. So 3rd and 7. That brings up a 3rd and 7. And for the Browns, we get a little bit of a miscommunication here on this out route. So I'm in Team Shedeur right here. When your receiver, when we got this on, okay, and we have a number 1 is right here where my cursor is. We're getting a fade release up top, and then we're getting an option route. This is very clearly an option route. So we're going to get a little spray, get to the sticks, and you can either break out, okay, go this way. You can shut it down inside, or you can shut it down outside. Okay, so you're watching this release. That, to me, and Shedeur's throwing it on the breakout right now. It's wide open grass, wide open spaces. Dixie Chick sang that once. Get to wide open spaces and go. Instead, he shuts it down. That ball flies to what the out route would have been, and the Browns are forced to punt. Again, a little bit of a miscommunication. Now, as we talk about the word miscommunication, it's very, very important to note that the Browns had very little of that. We talked about this earlier in the week, where the main importance is for me. For me, it was get in and out of the huddle. Make sure that they're getting in and out of the huddle. The operation is clean as can be. And it was tonight. No pre-snap penalties, all good. And then post-snap penalties were clean as well. That's not on the quarterback, but just make sure that communication is flowing and that communication is pretty damn good. So after that punt, remember that's where I want to keep calling them the Seahawks. The Panthers muffed that punt, and the Browns are set up 1st and goal. And on 2nd and goal, Shedeur drops a diamond here. This is a prototypical Cleveland Browns fake outside zone, and then come back off the bootleg. Find your guy. This is an absolutely perfect throw. Okay, it's going to go right here to K. Davis. He's going to come in on a little bit of a veer route, whatever you want to call it. He gets into the top. Deontay's kind of floating there, and this thing is dropped in just absolutely perfectly. The back view of it is special because this corner, I don't know why he pulls off of it, but he does. He pulls off of it just a bit, and that ball's fit into a tight space. Cleveland Browns, touchdown. They tie this sucker up at 7. All right, this is my favorite drive of the game for Shedeur Sanders. So we got 2nd and 7. Okay, 2nd and 7, and we're going to get a very similar concept to what we got in the red area. And Luke Florio runs it wrong here from number 2. Rare to see that from a receiver, but if I'm thinking this is right, you're going to get that ship concept. So we're getting that wide hitch. We're supposed to get that big box fade, and then we got our stick route. Instead, Luke runs this like little outy cutty thing, and we got a couple receivers in the same zone. Regardless, a nice completion, and that's Gage Larvadane. We've heard his name a billion times now, but does a nice job catching the football, protecting the football, and getting what he can. Ends up getting 3-4 yards, setting up a 3rd down. So we got 3rd and 4. Back it back up. It's now 3rd and 9. And as you can see in the top left corner, if you ever want anything fun, I usually put a little note up here in the top left corner, but we got throw of the night. Okay, throw of the night for me. Sponsored by Wad Thad. Wad Thad. Get your Wad Thad hats. Billy, that one's for you. Okay, Wad Thad throw of the night. Here we go. Shedeur drops back to pass. And what's been Shedeur's criticism to this point, especially in the draft process, is that he just drifts in the pocket. He doesn't have any pocket presence. He gets out at the instant of pressure. Well, we're going to put that right to bed here because he gets the top of his drop. I don't love his drop. I think there's some improvement that can be done there, but gets to the top of his drop, feels some pressure because his guys up on this top side are getting absolutely dominated. Okay, he floats a little bit to the right. He doesn't escape. He floats to the right. Now, I'm going to tell you something about this picture right freaking here. Look at this. You can stare down the barrel of a gun, and that barrel of a gun is coming to murder you, okay? It's coming to take your head absolutely off. You can stare down that barrel and deliver this throw, you're out of your freaking mind. This is awesome. It's an awesome route by Gage Laverdane, and it's an unbelievable throw here by Shedeur Sanders. And it's very similar-ish route concept to what we talked about before. Instead, this time, we're just going to track here. This time, we're getting a little escape. All right, so up top, we're getting a runoff. All right, we're getting a runoff. Oops, bad drawing there. Getting a runoff up top. And then number 2, we're getting a crosser over here. Number 1, we're getting a dig route in. And then number 3, we're getting a little check to occupy some linebackers. So as you can see here, a lot of drawing on this play. But Shedeur hangs in there, sits in the pocket, in the shadow of his own goalpost, in his own end zone, takes a hit, delivers a football that splits Gage Laverdane to 8-4. And the Cleveland Browns not only move the sticks, but get out to the 25-yard line. So you're winning at that point. You're absolutely, positively winning at that point. So, all right, then on this one, there's just a really nice player. Shows Shedeur's athleticism. I'd like him to get the football out right now. Just give him the football. Don't take any unnecessary hits. But that's me splitting hairs. Because kid's tough as nails. He's going to try to make a play for you. So, all right, 2nd and 1. Same drive, 7-7, 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. Good throw. This one's tough because I think it's a poor decision. Same play we talked about earlier where you're getting that motion up to the top, and we got block, and then you're getting that little flare out, and then you're getting a slant on the bottom. I hope they take this play out of the playbook because it just is not, in my opinion, not a good play. But they have it in for now. All right. Here we go. 2nd and 13. This one should have been picked off. This is the one time. And we talked the other day about like what I'm looking for. And what I'm looking for is making sure that ball is out of danger, making sure that's never in trouble of being intercepted. This is the only time all night. What I do love is to this point, Shedeur, staying in the pocket. All right. Love that. Absolutely freaking love that. What I hate is this ball missing late and missing behind. Great play by Laverdane to make sure that this ball is not picked off, but this would have been one that absolutely positively should have been intercepted. Okay, next drive, second quarter, 2 minutes left to go in the half. Browns get it going with a screen pass. Now, this is important because when we talk about the 2-minute drill, everyone thinks conserve time. Yes, while that is important, you don't want to do that until you're within 90 seconds, 60 seconds when you're conserving time using them timeouts. Because if you get this team rolling, you get a team going, they also have to communicate and they cannot sub. It's huge. They cannot sub and they have to match your personnel. So really, really important that if you have the ability to go up tempo, you absolutely do it. All right, we got Luke for a huge gain. All right, we did the screen already. All right, screen that back there. All right, here we go. So 2 minutes to go in the half. Browns are trying to drive. And now Luke Floria shows up in a big way. Hopefully not his last way, but shows up in a big way totally for sure. So Shedeur has some real trust in number 37, as you should. Playing receiver, wearing number 37, you're an absolute guy. But he floats one up, and Luke makes a unbelievable one-handed catch. Unfortunately, he does come up limp here on this very play. He does have to leave the game with a hamstring injury. Okay, now you look at the clock. 1 minute left to go in the game. Shedeur, throw yourself a touchdown. Feel in the pocket. Again, what did we talk about? What was his big draft knock? Escaping the pocket. Watch this. This looks like a 10-year vet. Great blitz pickup. Shedeur slides to his right, creates a new pocket for himself. Sits in there, bang, delivers a absolute rocket. K. Davis again. That's 2 tutties. The boys are absolutely buzzing. All right, here we go. Little late. This is the start of third quarter. Not a great drive to start the third quarter. It's 1st and 10. We're late on our outcut. Cannot afford to be late. Don't want this to become a thing where coming out of half we're fairly slow. Don't love that. Don't even love the matchup. This is one where you're like, hey, dude, how about we just work up here and you give your spot route a nice completion for a lot of yards. Instead, I've never thrown to Jamar Chase. So there's that. All right, here we go. So now we're back up. Shedeur's up. Again, doing a nice job of dropping back in his end zone. This is in his end zone. This is tough. It's scary. Good job by the offensive line. And then, we just get a little bit of an alligator arm on this one, where if he can escape and deliver a nice ball, we got a nice chunk pickup here. Maybe not crazy, but a nice little gain here. Instead, we spike that sucker, and we miss out on an opportunity. Been there, done that many times before. All right, 14-7 still. We got an awesome completion, and this is kind of the end of Shedeur's. Evening. You're going to see a little pop up here, but a really nice route here, a really nice concept. Really, this is just a 3-man concept, and you're going to see this over outcome from our tight ends over here. A go ball, and then your running back comes through the line of scrimmage and just kind of sits it up. So where do we hit? We go to our trusty tight end, and we get a awesome completion there. So that pretty much rounds out exactly what Shedeur did today at practice. So that takes us to the top. Yep, that takes us to the top. But that does round out exactly what Shedeur did this afternoon, and this evening. I think it was a lot more positive than it was negative. There was a lot of good stuff. There's some bad things for sure, some things to improve on, but a ton of good things, and something that we will obviously continue to keep our eyes on. The main point is that it was an unbelievable opportunity for Sanders. It's a great opportunity for a 5th-round pick to get 50-plus snaps in a preseason game, preseason week 1, and take advantage of them. And I think that he absolutely did that. So if you're jumping in with us tonight, we had an awesome crowd tonight. Make sure you're liked and subscribed to our channel. We got a bunch of content like this coming your way, more X's and O's stuff, which we absolutely love to do. We're going to have a board series coming soon. We're going to get on the whiteboard, teach you all how how installs happen and how teams kind of create the information that they are given. So excited about that. So make sure you're subscribed and you're alerted to when we go live. Also checking out all of our written content at si.com/NFL/Brown. So I'm getting out of here on that. It's been a long day, a late night. The Cleveland Browns are winners in Carolina, 30-10 in preseason week number 1. And the story of this game, Shedeur Sanders shined. He was 14 of 23 for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. An unbelievable start to his NFL career, and one that Browns fans everywhere hope is very long and takes place in Cleveland, Ohio. So I'm getting out of here on that. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm Anthony Moeglin. Appreciate you hanging out with us tonight on the Cleveland Browns on SI YouTube channel.